So dear students, welcome to 16th session in the Principles of Management. After discussing the evolution of management thought as well as the different approaches or schools of management, in the last class we discussed about the introduction to the scientific management by F.W. Taylor. Along with F.W. Taylor, there were other management thinkers: Henry L. Gantt, Gilbreth, so they worked along with the F.W. Taylor and they contributed for the scientific management. So in the present session, the discussion will be on the principles of scientific management. There are fundamental 6 core principles, so that will be analyzed and discussed. So in the last class, the previous session, about F.W. Taylor, his contributions, as well as the different contributors of scientific management we discussed. So the outcome of the session will be, you will understand the principles of scientific management as well as the application of the principles of scientific management in the present condition. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆ ಅಥವಾ ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ತತ್ವಗಳು ಈಗಿನ ಕಾಲಘಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಅದು ಪರಿಣಾಮಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಖಾನೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥಾಪನೆಯ ತತ್ವಗಳು, ಈ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಒಂದೊಂದಾಗಿ ವಿಶ್ಲೇಷಿಸುವ. ಸೊ ಟೇಲರ್ stated that the management is a true science which depends upon the cause and effect relationship. So here always he is focused on scientific application of principles in management instead of going for a old or like a rule of thumb method. So he worked in that Bethlehem Steel factory for nearly 30 years and he made tremendous changes in the work environment or in the work study or increasing the efficiency of the organization. So his opinion that management should be carried out in a more scientific way where you can get the maximum result. So efficiency means getting a maximum result with the available resources, skills and capabilities. So ultimately scientific management is nothing but finding the one best way of doing a particular job as well as in the cheapest way. So here is a list of principles of scientific management. So to some extent here some principles are interrelated. The first one is science, not rule of thumb. Science, not rule of thumb means instead of going for a assumption or a trial and error approach in taking the decision, so you have to apply the scientific thought in the decision making process. So the detailed discussion will happen. Second one is scientific selection and training. And the third point is related to that, development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency and prosperity. The fourth principle is harmony, not discord. As well as he coined that term with the mental revolution. The fifth one is again extension of that harmony, not discord, cooperation between the labor and management. And last one, maximum output in the place of the restricted output. So all these principles are developed by F.W. Taylor based on his work experience, or a relationship with the workers. Now the first one, so there must be thinking before doing. Earlier days, actually when they are going for any decision making process, so the decisions are taken on the basis of trial and error method, or maybe rule of thumb method. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯ ಅಂಧಾನುಶ್ರದ್ಧೆ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ತೀರ್ಮಾನಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆವು. So there was no proper study of work. So that's why they are not finding the best method to maximize the efficiency. So Taylor proposed that there should be a proper investigation of the work. He called that work study, or unifying the best practices and developing the standard. So that will help to get maximum efficiency in the workplace. So ultimately that hit and miss method should be avoided, and more scientific and research method should be given importance. Moving to the second principle, scientific selection as well as training of workers. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಬ್ಬಂದಿಯ ಒಂದು ಆಯ್ಕೆಯಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹುದ್ದೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹಂಚಿಕೆ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಅವರಿಗೆ ತರಬೇತಿ ನೀಡುವಂಥದ್ದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ಒಂದು ತಳಹದಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಡೇಸ್ the workers are not properly selected and they are not properly trained. There may be wrong placement. So that's why when the workers are not suitable for a particular job, so you can't expect that efficiency. So ನೀವು ಸರಿಯಾದ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡದಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಅವರು ಆ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಸರಿಯಾದ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಸಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅವರ ಹತ್ರ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ವರ್ಕನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ದ ಕೋರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರೈಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಎಟ್ ದ ರೈಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಮೆಥಡಾಲಜಿ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಫಾಲೋಡ್ in the selection, as well as after the selection there should be proper posting, or we can say that placement, and proper training should be given to the workers. Next, the third one, development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency and prosperity. So here in organization there are two class of people, means workers and management. But ultimately the two class of people, they should focus on increasing the overall organizational effectiveness. So if we want to have industrial efficiency, so there should be a personal competencies. So in order to get that personal competency, workers should be given proper training. So here, efficient employees, they would produce more and they earn more. So ultimately this will benefit both the company, the management, the workers, as well as at the society at large. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ಕಾರ್ಮಿಕನ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವದ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಅವರ ಅಭ್ಯುದಯಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. The fourth very important principle is harmony, not discord, as well as mental revolution. So the concept of harmony, not discord, ultimately the requirement of the organization to achieve the goals or to achieve the objectives. So here, instead of conflicting each other, the workers and management, so they should work in a harmonious manner. Means instead of going for a strike or instead of going for a lockout, ನಾವು ಮುಷ್ಕರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬೀಗ ಮುದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. See, whenever I think the workers are demanding for any kind of increase in the wages, so management should convince the workers so there should be a give and take policy. So Taylor as well as suggested that there should be a share of profit equally among the workers and management. And very important is they have to change the mental attitude of workers and management towards each other. So there is one image where we can see that workers, management and organization. So these are the three pillars of the organization or company. So both should have a sense of togetherness. So it will help to achieve the harmony in the organization so that they can get good result. So in order to quote one example here, as per the Japanese culture, it's a classic example to give link to harmony, not discord. So whenever there is any kind of misunderstanding between the management, so instead of going for a strike, actually they work more than the normal working hours to gain the sympathy of the management. So ಜಪಾನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಮುಷ್ಕರ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು 8 ಗಂಟೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುವ ಬದಲು ಅವರು 10 ಗಂಟೆ 12 ಗಂಟೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಮುಷ್ಕರವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, just in order to get the sympathy, and the management will come to their demands. The next point is the continuation of that harmony, not discord. So we are saying that cooperation between labor and management. So here both parties should realize that they need each other. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ management also very important, as well as the workers community also important. So whenever they are taking any decision, so management should involve the workers, or they should take their confidence So here, according to Taylor, there should be a equal division of the responsibility between the management and the workers. So ultimately, the main purpose here is to substitute the competition with the cooperation. So here we are saying that cooperation, not individualism. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕರ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವ ಹಿತಾಸಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ನೋಡುವ ಬದಲು ಅವರು ಆ ಕಂಪನಿ ಹಿತಾಸಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ನೋಡಬೇಕು. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ಪರಸ್ಪರ ಸಹಕಾರ ಮನೋಭಾವನೆ ಇರಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಮಿತಿಯ ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆಯ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ಗರಿಷ್ಠ ಮಟ್ಟದ ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆಗೆ ಒತ್ತು ಕೊಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ should be replaced by the restricted output. So when you will not utilize the plant capacity, so ಪ್ರತಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಖಾನೆಗೆ ಅದರದಾದ ಒಂದು ಗರಿಷ್ಠ ಉತ್ಪಾದನಾ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಇರ್ತದೆ. That we are saying that installed capacity. But when you are not utilizing that to the fullest extent, the fixed cost anyway you have to bear. So in that case, your cost of production will increase. So it is very difficult to market, or it is very difficult to compete with the competitors, and ultimately you will lose the customers. Instead of that, so when you go for a maximum output or maximum production, so you will enjoy that economies of scale. Economies of scale ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. So we can able to sell our product at a very reasonable rate. So consumer will get product at a reasonable rate, the good quality product. So you can have that dominance in the market. So ultimately this principle will help management, consumers and society as a whole. So in order to boost the industrial production, so the theory propounded by Taylor, it will help a lot. ಸೊ ಕಾರ್ಮಿಕರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ಅಥವಾ ಹೊಣೆಗಾರಿಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಸಮಯ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಶಿಸ್ತನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಸುವಂಥದ್ದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದು ಸಹಕಾರ ಮನೋಭಾವನೆ, ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥಾಪನೆಯ ತತ್ವಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ದ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಇನ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ would result in greater efficiency in the workplace as well as harmonious relationship between the labor and management. Thank you.